Live from Music City, Nashville, Tennessee. This is your motivational, sensational, inspirational, educational, keenly awaited, highly anticipated edition of the afternoon swing trading floor with your humble host, Jeremy Alexander Newsom, with another daily dose of mentally delicious brain food, reminding each of you to love life, and trade it. Christine, what's going on, girl? How are you? How's Pennsylvania treating you? Hope you're doing fantastic. Adriano says live. That's right, baby. Eric, what's going on, Eric? Andre, how's it been going, man? Are you still in Kuwait? Give me some news. How's February looking for you? You're doing fantastic. James says, bring on the brain food. It's coming, man. Hope you got some chopsticks. DJ, what's cracking, sir? Hope you're doing awesome. Javier, how are you? Kevin Stone said, what up, everybody? He actually says everyone. Oh, man. So many things to talk about. So still here in Kuwait, staying green so far. Staying green? Congrats, buddy. I'm so happy for you. Man, follow that plan. Don't want any more of that treadmill stuff. Get at me, though, because we need to update that a little bit. Hit me up some point. Shoot me an email. We need to up it every month. It's got to get worse and worse. All right, folks, let's talk markets. Really quick chatter. It's Tech Giant Tuesday, usually everyone's favorite day. We got a nice, healthy list for the day. We'll be talking about all kinds of good stuff. Give me about 3 seconds to pull this up over here. My girl Mila. What's up, Mila? Everybody. Got Backstreet Boys in my head. All right. Perfect. So here's the 100 simple moving average. On SPY, we did close with a cute inside day candle. That is very nice. Very nice inside day candle. I did lose small in day trading today. I only took one trade on Nike. It was a bearish trade, down 0.7 R. A kind of a decent rule is, for me at least, is if the SPY has an inside day, right, which means it's a very small range. So the SPY didn't gap up or gap down, above any wicks or anything, and there's no real massive candles, then usually it's going to be a pretty good inside day, and I don't really take that many trades. Secondly, when you have a big bullish day in the markets, it's very rare to have two huge bullish days back to back. When I say big bullish day, I mean like more than 1%. It's a pretty big bullish day for the bulls. So if you get bigger than 1%, I'm just talking day trading here. For day trading, you're normally going to get some pause. And for my swing traders, right, if you're like thinking to yourself, if I'm up 1%, the next day could rest. So just kind of turn the computer off and let it go do its thing, So anyway, that's pretty much what happened today. We did set up a SPY trade this yesterday afternoon, and it did trigger pretty much at open. And I did post that I closed it out for a nice little small gain on SPY. So we got triggered into those calls, and I figured I would just hop in and hop out. All right, good bullish trade. Jesse got some gains on that. Bob got some gains on that. A few other traders were holding it a little bit longer, but I did post that in Slack, also updated in the worksheet. And if you are still in, you are profitable on the trade. So it's totally fine. If you are still in, if you want to hold, a few other traders are holding. But anyway, good trade on the SPY. What's interesting is I still want to look for stocks that are doing something a little bit different in the market for swing trades. Okay? To reiterate, if you're doing longer-term trades, a lot of things look pretty good right now. I do still think there's a chance that we have one more rotation lower before we go higher. It's a possibility. I just don't know exactly where it's going to be. We could trade back up to here and do something like this. All I'm saying is I don't think that we're going to just skyrocket. Skyrockets in flight. I don't think that happens right there on the SPY. So some type of rotation, however it looks. And I don't know exactly what it's going to look like, but that would be for, if you're looking at getting into broader market stocks, right? Apple or SPY or the Qs, the IWM or whatever. That's pretty much what I'd be waiting for. Otherwise, I'm looking for something that looks a little different right now when I'm doing a directional swing trade. And if you guys have any questions on that, let me know. But we'll be posting some. I still think we're going to make new all-time highs in this market. I think this is a great pullback. I like that the bullish volume down here is more than the bearish volume. I'm still on board with that. So the bull volume, even though we had a quick drop, this was a needed drop. We did pulls back to back, and everybody was comfortable. Everybody was cool. Nobody was terrified, horrified, petrified, or scared. And at these levels, we're looking at a lot of traders are actually looking at going bullish. So anyway, I think we can and we do make new higher highs in the market this year. I'm very confident in that. Doesn't mean it will happen, of course, but it means it could. Here's the Dow Jones. Dow Jones, again, actually only pulled down to the 100. Never even made it to the 2. So you got that hammer candle. You got this 2-day candle pattern. I don't think that we necessarily gap up tomorrow, but if we gap up in the broader markets, I will expect a pullback tomorrow almost for certain if we gap up. So if we gap up tomorrow, look for some fades, not on just the Qs, I'm saying, or the Dow, I'm saying just on just about everything. The QQQ actually made a higher high than yesterday. So it's not a perfect inside day candle. So again, you have 3 bullish candles in a row. You have a good move from here to here. I mean, that's a solid gain on the Qs. Just 3 days in a row. That's about 8 points, 5%. That's huge. So yeah, the Qs are the tech ETF. This is the ETF that tracks the NASDAQ. So you have the NASDAQ, the S&P. So this is a big deal. It's a strong move. So again, if we gap up big tomorrow morning, which I'm not expecting it to happen, I'm just saying if we do, I would expect some selling to come in and maybe we get that rotation. So just to repeat, any trade that you're looking at that looks pretty much like the entire market, if you want to be in 1 or 2, that's fine. For swing trades, just don't be in a lot of them. If you're doing stuff long-term here, that's okay. Not a problem. I love long-term. I'm all about it. This is still a good market for some credit spreads, like bull put spreads and whatnot. Your IWM was 1 penny away from a perfect doji on Friday, and we're making a little bit of a higher highs. So I still think this is a healthy, much-needed pullback in the market. I'm still in that bandwagon. In fact, here's SPY, and there's a few traders in this put sale on SPY that I posted not too long ago, the 210. Very far away. That's for March. That's already declined significantly. So I'll just leave that open. I don't think I'll need to even buy that back. I might buy it back just to free up margin because it's not cheap to do that spread, that put sale down there. But I still think this and this and this is a huge possibility. Huge, 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 huge. So swings, again, quick in and outs. Long terms, I think this is some good positions to add some long-term stuff. Let's go look at our swing trade on Riot, R-I-O-T, and we did get filled today really with a pretty nice candle. A little bit bearish, I'm not going to deny that, but I like the high wave nature of this candle. Good thing, if you did leave that limit at 1609, you got filled this morning. It had a little bit of a spike down. I got filled at 1608. 1608 would save me a penny. What? Whole penny? So Riot, sorry, I put 1609. Riot, so Riot is open as a swing trade. So if you got triggered in yesterday, cool. If you got triggered in today, cool. We're in. So we left that open. We'll come back. This is day 1. So my hope is I can increase the stop, in a week or 2, and then put it in here, and then hopefully we'll slowly pop. But this is a possibility. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. Andre, I agree. If Bitcoin can really start cranking out, I don't think Riot is insanely linked to the price of Bitcoin, but there's definitely some kind of correlation. So if we see some higher moves on Bitcoin, I think Riot also increases. So that's RIOT. So that one is an official swing trade that we did get triggered into. And Steven, yeah, that 5-minute candle just out of nowhere. Bloop. So you could have gotten a good fill if you did the 1608. And again, if you got in yesterday, that's fine. If you got in on this pullback, it was a retest gap. Fun to see, I feel like. I would argue that this is exactly what we wanted. We talked about it yesterday. Isn't it cool to see these retest gaps retesting? I think it's exciting. It's like, yeah, this is a retest gap. Nice long lower shadow. A little more bearish than I would have liked, but, looks okay. Again, here's the 100 on the weekly chart. We're very far above all the moving average on the weekly, but I do like that pattern. Also, we have to update. Let's just update Watt. We're going to look at Watt again tomorrow. This is just really quick. It did move in our favor. It moved in our favor. It's up a little bit today. So, okay, cool. Let's give it another day. Come on, Watt. APRN. APRN, Blue Apron, had earnings today, and it did move higher. So you got a little bit of a bullish gap. It ran up this morning into a little bit of a resistance. It kind of filled that gap immediately. Here's the hourly chart, and I'm going to start watching Blue Apron potentially for some higher moves. There are some traders who already got into this as a swing trade. No, not necessarily a swing trade, but kind of like a little bit of a longer term swing, like months, 4 to 5 months kind of thing. Let's just see what that does tomorrow. We're going to come back and look at Blue Apron tomorrow, APRN. Happy to see this move higher for Amy. Hooray, Amy, on APRN. So I got a little bit of a bullish move. Here's the 100, 200, and that was the target. Right, that was it. Traded right up to the 100 and sold off there. So we'll see if we get a play. I'm just going to look at it again tomorrow, figure out what kind of volume is coming in. Otherwise, we might do a close above there or something like that. We'll probably keep looking at it. But remember, this was an absolute zero trade that I talked about a few weeks ago when it was back in here to say, hey, you could buy it at $3, and worst case scenario, it goes to zero. You're not up very much, but you're up some. I've heard at one point that some and much is better than none. That's a Jeremy Newsom quote. Feel free to use it. VUZI. Oh, I'm so dumb. VUZI. This channel is going to break out at some point, I feel like. It is just dying to. Here's the monthly charts and monthly chart. There's the channel. Huge volume. This one really didn't react to the market, do anything. Marius says breakout even more. Yeah. It hasn't really even broken out yet. So this is an upper shadow. You got a little bit of an inside candle, some good bullish volume, some candles, higher low. It doesn't have to, of course, but if it can close above 10, I think she's off to the races on VUZI. For anyone looking at trading that one. So that's the monthly chart. Here's the weekly. So I would say a bullish close, end of day bullish would look something like this on VUZI, so 995. So I'll put that in the chat pane, Marios, because I know that you trade that one. How's the weather in Cyprus today, my man? Okay, so there's VUZI. Next on the list is iRobot. And iRobot, ladies and gentlemen, you want to see Mr. Squiggles, he should get an Oscar for this one. Look at this. To the day. To the day. Very next day, she gapped up and started trading higher. So nice. Mr. Squiggles told me so. IRBT. We were looking at shorting it potentially, but I want to see how quickly it would retest and what type of retest we would get. So we are retesting the 100. So bottom line, we're going to keep an eye on this one to start rolling over because it's doing what we want it to do so far. So we'll come back to it later, and that is just brilliant. I don't know how he does it, but he's a magic man. AMBA. So obviously we're up thousands and thousands of dollars on Umbrella. We're just raking in the money at this point. We're up 11 cents from the trigger. 11 entire cents. So AMBA, nothing to see here. Brad has a put sale expiring this Friday. I'm actually headed to his house in 45 minutes from right now to go watch the Nashville Predators Blues, St. Louis Blues. Yeah, Nashville Predators and Blues are going to watch that game together. So he's got a put sale at $42.50 expiring this Friday. So we will look at AMBA again on Friday. My goal, hopefully, is to be in this trade for the week and then move up the stop to here and lose small. But if this thing can break out of here and double bottom, then it should be great. Should be good. Mila says, is it going lower, iRobot? iRobot, as of right now, not yet. I don't think so. But in the future, maybe. Maybe. We'll be keeping an eye on it. I got it on the list for, when did I write it down? Friday. Mila, so we'll be looking at iRobot again on Friday. If you have any positions on it, just let me know. I'll be happy to keep tabs of it for you. Here's Snapchat. Let's go look at this one. Give me a moment. Talking about a stock that looks different than the market, that would be Snapchat. Snapchat looks a little different. So I mentioned that we would get an inside day candle on Monday, which we did, and then Tuesday we kind of got one. This still is a retest gap. I still think it probably retests a little bit more than it is right now. If you were looking at playing Snapchat bullish, this would kind of be the setup, 1974 by 1797. The longer it trades sideways, the better I like the trade. But I still think we're going to come down to the 10 or the 20. I still think so. So let's just come back to this one. 2, 13, 18. I don't have to date it. We're going to come back to Snapchat later. Let's look at it on Thursday. If anyone is inclined, whoever requested Snapchat, you could have an order just sitting out down here down at the 20 just in case it goes and then pops down off of that level, right? Puke order, whatever you want to call it. Old resistance, new support, pulling into those moving averages. It's totally doable. They just lost so much money. It's hard for me to want to go bullish on Snapchat right now, but the technicals don't lie. Sometimes you got to throw away your bias and go, don't be a dum-dum. So I'm working on that right now with Snapchat. Okay, Facebook, I believe Facebook's on the list. Yep, Facebook is right here. Already had it written down. So next on the list is NVIDIA, which was up 2% today. And today is another inside candle. Another inside candle. So that makes 2 in a row, which means this is now an official trade on NVIDIA because I planned it, set it up, asked it to do what it wanted to do, and it has done it. This one, if you were going to trade options, you'd probably go March, but more than likely April. Obviously, if you want to do a little bit longer term options, be like Fred and Justin and Adrian and Brian and Jesse and all those amazing traders out there. You can do a little bit longer term if you want. Just, you know, got to have a little bit more. You got to have a little bit more magic mark in your portfolio. So NVIDIA, this is going to be the official setup. I'll do it with shares personally. There's a few of you already in shares, and I like it. So there we go. Here we go. New official swing trade. She popped, write this back to Amy. She popped some on earnings. Yep. Hit the 100 SMA, probably your target for some. Okay, so NVIDIA, I'm looking for the breakout. Swing trades. We're going to get to Twitter in just a second. 2/13/2018. NVIDIA. And I'm looking for a break above 239.23. Stop limit. Everything is the same on that one. Stop will be 224.48. 224.48. Clive says, Watt earnings are Thursday after close, FYI. I looked at that just the other day, and I could have sworn it said March 1st. Clive getting himself a frequent trader point. Let me make sure I get this one in here. So shares, good setup based on the gap and go. Open because it's not triggered yet. Let me post this in here. And then I'm going to mention at channel earnings on Watt are 215. Let's exit tomorrow for a gain. And Clive gets one freaking trader point. Ash. Call replay is March 1st. I get too many emails. Haven't got a chance to check it out yet. All right. Appreciate it, man. Thanks, Clive. So let's just look to take a small gain. I mean, that's why we trade as a team, folks. That is why. Teamwork makes the dream work. So Earnings Whisper says 3.7, but yeah, Thinkorswim says February 15th. I mean, I feel like that's early, just as it was just in November, but all is good. Whatevs. We'll take the gains and move on. So NVIDIA, bullish. I like the flag pattern. I like the trend. I like this. I like all of it. That's why it's official. It just looks good. Okay. Cool. Twitter, TWTR. Twitter, this is going to be the weekly options newsletter setup. If you want to play it in a different format, you're welcome to. It's a retest gap. I looked at this one yesterday in the Monday stock review. So if you played an entry above here with a stop below there, congrats. Ashley was looking at that this morning for a day trade, actually. She liked the review. Anyway, looking to see if Twitter will pull back. And that's really it. That analysis is pretty much already done. So that is a new official sway for those who have the weekly options newsletter. There's going to be some resistance up here, but I mean, as far as moving averages and everything is concerned, it's up there. So you got this white candle gapping up. It retested 2 or 3 days. Got a breakout today. So if that giant white candle pulls back a little bit more, maybe we get filled, and maybe we don't. Time will tell. Okay, that's Twitter. We are smoking. MXIM. Maxim Integrated. What is this one doing? Maxim Integrated. Oh, yes. I forget who requested this one, but I think they're already in. Forget the person asking, but it did look good. I think this is kind of a flag pattern. Last 2 or 3 days. It looks similar to the market, obviously. It's not exactly the same, but this is a beautiful one white soldier off of the 50. If you gotten a chance to buy off the 50, congratulations. But again, someone I know requested MXIM. So I would say it looks like a flag pattern. Yeah, bullish flag pattern. Volume is kind of declining. It looks similar to the market, where if the market pops, this will pop. Weekly chart doesn't look bad. Hourly chart. Yep. So if I was in this trade, what I would say, depending on my time frame, of course, is that we need to break above the high of right here, which is, let's just call it 60. So if Maxim Integrated Products breaks above 60 and before the end of the week, this trade should work. And if it doesn't, it still could work. It just might not be majestically beautiful. Maybe it only slightly works. So buy 60 by the end of the week. All right, next on the list is Under Armour with 2 A's, UAA. And this one actually did have a bullish gap up today, I believe over earnings. And it traded right into the 200 simple moving average. So the interesting thing is I think Under Armour is trying to recover, because if you look at the weekly chart, this thing got rampaged. However, I had a one-legged bird carrying a message that was covered in cinder block, saw this double bottom, and told me to keep an eye on that. Derek said strong international sales. So if this double bottom can close over here on Under Armour, we should keep an eye on it. So we're going to look at, again, Merchant Monday. This could also be a little bit of a longer-term play with some protective puts and whatnot, because Under Armour has had a strong difficulty actually going higher, but it has pulled back over 60%. And it's interesting to see exactly what this one's going to do. Mike says, looks like an ascending triangle. Yep, I can see that too. Something like this, like that. So yeah, I kind of like it. It's going to be a little bit about what the 200 does. Let's come back and look at this one on Friday. I'm sorry, Monday, Merchant Monday. I do know that Bob sold himself a put sale on Under Armour over earnings because he does not mind owning shares, and these are the non-voting class shares, I believe. And he did an $11 put sale, which will expire worthless this Friday. So congrats. Mark says, Watt's website confirms earnings call after market on 2/15. Okay. So thanks, Mark. Deepak, appreciate it. Clive, thank you very much. Let's just exit tomorrow, small gain, and that'll be that. Okay. Next on the list, here's WIZ, which I think is WIX. Yeah. I remember looking at that, I was like, I think that's going to be Wix. I only know one real-life trader in Wix. He bought, back when I was talking about this double bottom, it's a very good breakout, nice-looking move. I do believe earnings are right around the corner for this, though. Wix, do you guys all know what Wix does? I'm a big fan of this company. I really like it. This and Shopify, I think earnings are tomorrow. Okay, so we're going to figure out what happens on earnings tomorrow. Mario says, I made my website using Wix. What's your website, man? For your business? Andre says, Wiz was what I requested. Oh, well, let me pull it up again because I might be looking something wrong then. No worries. All right, Wix. So this was the last time I did it. Steven says, stock trader's journey was built on Wix. Ah, beautiful. So this is the last time I talked about it. I had one trader bought some shares down here and looks good. This was back in December 14 after earnings. Gorgeous. If you bought and you do not want to hold over earnings, I believe the thing called love. I believe they are tomorrow. Winky face. Let's go check out these two websites built on Wix. ICO Legal Advice? You have a legal advice ICO company? Nice. That's good to know, Marios. This is Stephen King's website. I talked about that when I interviewed him on Wednesday. And then here is the, these are all built on Wix. This is what Marios built. Cyprus law firm based in Cyprus. The firm's practicing highly international with strong corporate private banking tax. Oh, nice. Cool. More like a hobby, he says. I like hobbies. Hobbies that make money are the best kind of hobbies. Anyway, I like Wix long term. So if we get a chance to buy a pullback, again, for anyone who likes Wix, I know you can't be in everything, but if you use their products and you know how they make money, if you can get a good opportunity to buy them longer term, I think this is a nice flag pattern in here, and I think it's going to kind of pop out of here. So let me go figure out what Wiz. How do I find Wiz? Wiz Khalifa? What is this ticker, Andre? Or did you just type it in wrong also? Wiz. Could have sworn it was Wiz. No worries. Just let me know which one it is. I can add it back to the list. Not a problem, brother. Just keep me posted. Okay, here's Caterpillar. So Caterpillar was on a crusher. Look at that bounce off the 200. Woo-wee. So check this out. Let's just regroup some basic stock trading here. Whoever bought there and made money, do you think they did that a second time? The answer, when we come back after this series of commercials. The answer is yes. And in trading, your goal is to try to find someone out there, a company, a group, a hedge fund. Now, obviously you can't visually do that, but actually do that. But try to go out and find where are people buying, where they've made money before, and just try to do it again. You know, even if it's just one iteration, like a nice lower shadow. I love lower shadows. I don't care if it's built by a high-frequency trader or a robot or hedge fund or whatever. But if we go back to here on Caterpillar and draw a little bit of a line, right? You got whoever bought there at that price made money, and they did it again a second time and made money. So you could have a third opportunity, even though you would have hated to buy on that pullback. If you have a nice far away stop, right? That's the thing to keep in mind, my friends, is you can always tiptoe and put your toes in the water if you are unsure of the entry. So if you say something like, okay, I'm going to buy right there, and maybe put your stop way the heck down here for 1R or half an R or whatever. And then once you're in the trade, you kind of scope it out and go, okay, I like that a little bit more. Let me get in if it moves higher, and I'll increase my stop up to there, and I'll just add to my other half an R, and then I'll have a whole R in the trade. You know, there's a lot of other ways to do it. And day trading, when you're adding on a day trade, can be kind of dangerous, but swing trading, it's a little bit easier. I didn't do that trade. I didn't take that trade, but I've absolutely done it before in regards to other trades. And just throwing it out there. If you're like unsure of a stock, if you want to buy it on a pullback and you're like, is this the support? You can always just nibble. Nothing wrong with a little bit of nibbling. It's just come down to, did you plan it? Did you do it? Did you think about it in advance? Did you know why you did it? Are you comfortable with why you did it, right? So if it happens again, which it very well might. I mean, if the Caterpillar obviously is tracking the exact market right now. So if the whole market has a little bit of a pullback, which I still expect, some form of this, I'm just telling you, I don't know what it's going to look like. There will be an S-curve in the market. I wish I knew. I'm telling you, when I get that time machine, folks, you are all billionaires. I promise. Okay? But until I can figure out the theory of relativity and as it relates to the space-time continuum, we're going to work on understanding this plan of, all right, let's plan for the future. It's going to be some type of curve where when we get a weaker pullback into some support areas or some levels where I might buy, it's going to be a good place to hop into the market. So, for example, something like this, the reason I'm drawing that line right there is based on that gap action. So if we trade higher, notice it works the exact same way. There are people who sold right here before and made money. So if they do that again and the stock rotates back down into here, this is where I will look to buy into that weakness. Remember, pullbacks are healthy in bullish markets, and I know I'm one of the few bullish traders out there who keep telling you guys the market's going to go higher, and I'm sorry for that, but I don't see any real economic evidence to prove otherwise. I just don't see it. It could happen, and I'll tell you, if we close below these candles, I'll kind of shut my mouth for a week or two and go, okay, guys, I'm throwing up my hands. I have no idea. Let's just lose as small as we can. If we close below those soon, we could close below those later, right, and it'd be okay, something like that. That's okay. But I'm talking about soon, like before March. We get this big bearish candle like that, I'll go, okay. But yeah, bullish markets don't just end on a day. It's a primary trend. It takes weeks to months for a bull market to really start ending, and there's got to be some kind of underlying issue that scares people. Something. Anyway, that's just my thoughts. Shopify. Ooh, this analysis on Shopify was dirty. So Shopify earnings is right around the corner. So we will do a Shopify earnings analysis because this one's going to be real easy. Look at that wave 4. I mean, just as a reminder, we did that. Mr. Squiggles planned this one back on January 25th. We could put this in the MoMA. Solid. Almost to the exact day. We got the price, nailed the price. I mean, freehanding drawing like that is tough, but this was the wave 4, I really think. Now, I could be wrong. I'm wrong very often. We will know if this wave count is broken if we really take out this low and close below it and that wave 4 gets compromised. And then everything changes. You go, okay, cool. Well, looks like that didn't work. So something like this would be probably bullish if we gap down into there. Just enough to trap some overzealous bulls who have their stops a little bit too tight maybe. How do I change this format? Templates. Green. I'll be bullish on Shopify unless we open below here. We open below this 200, something's up. At least that's kind of how I feel. And of course, if we gap up into this area, she's just going to continue higher, I would imagine. Okay, so there's Shopify. SHOP pre-earnings analysis. Nice distribution wave 4 right here. If shop gaps into one of the green zones, I would expect a bullish move and for the trend to continue. Best play would be a gap down into the 100 SMA, shaking some bulls, waiting a few hours maybe, and higher highs to come. If shop opens in the red zone, though, some peeps will be trapped. My vote equals trend to continue. Shopify and Wix, pretty similar industry. So if we can, you have one or two, both are coming up with earnings. If both move the same, I think that'll be a strong kind of signal that's kind of what happened. If both of them move kind of independently, one does one thing, one does the other, look for the other one that, let's say Shopify gaps up and continues higher and it's really strong. You can go look for Wix to kind of continue, see if it fills its gap or something like that. They'll trade semi in unison, not exactly the same, but they're pretty similar industries. I could even see a merger or a buyout at some point. That would make sense. I just don't know who it would do. Yep. Okay. That's Shopify. And there's a few real life traders who got some positions in Shopify. All right, Tesla. You guys want to see some more Mr. Squiggles magic? Look at this. Oh, boy. It's solid sometimes. Tesla retesting. So Niels has a put sale, I think it expires this Friday. I talked Bob out of it. He wanted to get into one over here. And I told him I think we could trade down to the 200 or 100 on the weekly, which is still possible. Still possible. You got a nice one black crow on the weekly chart. I'm glad that Tesla's bouncing. If you played this thing bullish off of this support, beautiful. I mean, that's why I mentioned that we were going to bounce higher from there, right? That's why I drew that in, is because we trade down to that support. I didn't obviously have that analysis beforehand, but that was most of the market. Right, on Friday, most of the market pulled into a support and bounce. So we had bounced down here before, and again, I know it would be uncomfortable to buy down there, but most trades, the best ones, are usually uncomfortable. So I think we trade a little bit higher on Tesla. We are gapping up right now, and we'll see if we get any kind of failures up in here. What I would say is, I know it's a lot of minutia in a way, but keep an eye out for if it does roll over and then we bounce and start making a new all-time high. I'm going to create, not a new all-time high, I'm sorry. If we create a new wave high, I'll create a separate channel that looks like this, right, based from that same angle, and that's probably where we go on Tesla, and then it will just be a more bullish to neutral straight trade. So longer-term shares, longer-term calls, bull put spreads, right? So if Mr. Squiggles is incorrect, that's usually a phenomenal signal to go the other direction. Flip it. So if that happens, you can do, again, consider some put sales, bull put spreads, let it trade up a little bit higher, and crush it accordingly. Mila says, yay, what you got on this one, Mila? James has been in Shopify since '85. Congrats, my brother. Well done. It's a very pretty company to own, I feel like. By the way, do you guys like the new picture? I'll be posting a few more Valentine's Day stock-related puns. All right, Momo. So Momo is just a dog right now. Momo's hanging out. Got an April covered call at 35. Couldn't be more boring. I'm just sitting tight on Momo, my friends. The 100 simple is what's saving me on this one. Nothing to see here, but I like this inside candle. Today is only Tuesday. I would love if we start getting some bulls down here. I think Momo could continue. So I think a few of you have some potential shares of Momo. This is again a Chinese social media company. It's like the Chinese Tinder. Mario says, "What's so special about an inside day candle? What happens if you put a bunch of water, Marios, in a pot and then you turn it on the stove? You turn the stove on." It does begin to evaporate, but before that, it gets hot, right? Pressure starts to build, starts to boil, and at some point, that lid will start shaking. So you get inside candles. Inside candles are literal visual representations. And look at this one right here. That was one. I just found one. Here's one right here. Here's an inside candle. Here's a bunch of inside candles. Here's another inside candle. They're great. They literally show, hey, just a bunch of resting is about to happen, and keep your eyes out for a pop. Keep your eyes out for the lid to come off the container. Andre said, "It's awesome how the human mind goes all to valid answers for the same question." Yeah, exactly. Marius had the best answer, evaporate. That was a solid answer. So that is correct. So anyway, Momo, not a lot of traders in this one. I got put some shares back here up on the trade, not nearly as nice as I was at 32, but I'm hoping to get called away at 35 at some point on Momo. And if not, I will turn right around and I will sell another covered call higher. So Momo looks relatively bullish. Nothing amazing. Apple. Let's talk Apple, shall we? Apple down a little bit pre-market. Phenomenal bullish gap and go the other day. If you bought some shares, you should have gotten some dividends recently. If you had shares, I should say before the last 2 weeks. Here's the hourly chart. I feel like I know exactly what Apple's about to do. Exactly. Here's my thoughts. My biggest question is I'm trying to figure out exactly how far it's going to pull back before it bounces. I do think it breaks this low just to trap some bulls because it's a little too easy. Apple does not like being easy. Now, there are a few traders who sent me – I could be wrong about this, guys. Remember, I just analyze stuff. I'm not always right. What is going on here? Hold on. I can't delete that. I can't delete this drawing. I don't know what's going on. This is funny. Okay. Sorry, that was weird. I don't know if you guys could see that, but I could. Okay, so Apple – I think it's going to do this and this. That's what I think it's going to do. I would prefer that and that. For most traders, I think it's going to do blue. I think blue. But I do want to pull back a little bit is what I'm getting at. So if you're playing Apple, I hope you bought around 155. A few traders did. That was the weekly 50 EMA, and we haven't hit that since 2016. So here's the daily. Now, I do want to post a phenomenal chart. I loved it. I love this chart. Pull this up right here. So Cameron posted this chart. I'll post this in chat pane as well, and you guys can look at this. This is doable. Absolutely feasible. I'm not saying it will happen, but it could, and we're going to prepare for that. This time, when it happened back here, it more or less just happened because you had a new all-time high, and you had that divergence, and just kind of failed. And you had this small little pop here off the 50 before it rolled over. This time, this one was pretty – I mean, I think everyone knew that one was going to happen at some level, but once it broke that neckline. Anyway, this one had a good pullback. And so, yeah, this is, trade down to the 50. We could trade up to here and roll over. That is possible. So I love that chart. I don't know exactly what I would need to see to really think that's going to happen other than a close below yesterday's low. Right, we closed below yesterday's low in Apple. It's not going to be the most bullish thing in the world. I think Apple's about to, it wants to trap some folks. Again, I would love it if pink happens. I think blue is what happens. I think it pulls back a little bit farther. But regardless, on Apple, I am bullish long term. And what do I really need to see? I'll let you guys know when I see it. I think. I'll let you know when I see it. If it does something like this, some type of third lower high, I'll be very cautious. So again, I'll keep you posted if I see something really squirrely going on Apple. The good news is we're going to have plenty of time because a close, well, I can definitely say a close below yesterday's low, which is Monday, is going to be concerning. A close below Friday's low, and we're going to 130. That's the way that's going to work. So we closed below the low of Friday, which is this major market low, and we're going to go to 134, 135. We'll go lower. Simple as that. And we'll chop around down there for a while. So obviously that would kind of be worst case scenario. I did have a caller on Apple. My February covered call is going to expire worthless, and we'll keep an eye on it. Brian Shepard has a put sale for Friday. So far, things are looking good. Mila also posted a really good chart on Apple. So Mila, congrats. Let me see if I can find that one really quick. Nope, I didn't want to search for you. And come back over to here. How do I find a conversation with you in it? From Mila, maybe? Yeah, I think this was it. Hold on. There we go. Found it. I love that search function. I learned about that from Jason's webinar. #truth. So here's another one of Mila. So we got two traders looking at Apple could roll over. And again, I'm all for that happening. Long term, I'm bullish on Apple. I don't think it occurs, but you never know. So let this load. I'll post this. Something like right about here. And again, this is also on a weekly. So what could happen is we could also have something like an A, B, C, D, E. I mean, that's always plausible on Apple if we go higher. Apple's going to like to trade people. One of the things I can say on Apple is this. Apple is a stock that is better to own oftentimes than trade. It likes surprising people. It's not the easiest thing in the world to trade. Sometimes it can have an obvious setup, but one of the biggest companies in the world, it likes to surprise people. There's a lot of people out there for it to surprise. And, there's people talking about it all the time. News is very prominent for Apple. So anyway, all I'm getting at is if you want to trade Apple bullish and you're not already in, look for a little more of a pullback. Otherwise, if you have long-term shares and we get up into these levels, I will be selling more covered calls and getting into another collar just in case. Just in case. So again, one of the stocks that is better to own rather than to trade. Just buy some more shares of Apple every 2-3 weeks. Even if it's one share at a time, $164 every 2 weeks, just own. Facebook, it is doing something different than the SPY. Kind of. It is smack dab in the middle. You have another inside candle. Few traders have some put sales on this one. And if I go into the hourly, I have to turn pretty much the hourly charts off. We're gapping up very small pre-market. It looks like Facebook might trade back down to the 200, which if it does, I think you guys know what to do. Wash and repeat. I wouldn't, you probably don't have to buy it exactly off the 100. You could, but you could probably also look to buy it pretty much kind of around that low, something like this maybe. That is possible. I think it's more of a buy low, sell high at this point, at this juncture, rather than a direct trade. So if you're looking at doing a put sale, I wouldn't do April yet. I would wait a little bit longer, and if you do April, go below 162.50. When you do put sales, you want to go as long, as low, as far away as you can. And remember, you want to make sure you are okay to own shares if that's the case. Here's the weekly chart. You have a one black crow on a weekly. Most stocks do. Yeah, I think it could come down to the 50 EMA pretty easily. That's at 165. So if you're looking at getting into a new put sale, make sure it's below 165 or bull put spread. This is not the most bullish candle in the world on Facebook. So I'm not saying it's going to go lower and going to crash. It's just about to distribute a little bit longer, I feel like. So be patient on Facebook for the longer term trend. And let's keep an eye on it. Because again, it's going to be a little on the weaker side. Longer term. Short term, like day trade and stuff, I mean, anything's possible. Microsoft, good little move today. So there was some blockchain news on Microsoft, and it did slowly pop some. This is a stock that has not hit its 100 for a while, but it's gotten very close numerous times. So my thought is on Microsoft, if you're in, stay in. It actually looks like a pretty decent trade. I know it's kind of tracking the market already, but if we get an inside day candle tomorrow, I might roll with this one right there, because this is a bearish candle, 89.88, 89.78, 90. There's a bunch of highs right there. So if we get an inside day candle tomorrow, I'm gonna say 213, 17, 18. Oh boy, 213, 18 inside day candle tomorrow? Question mark. And that'll be my plan. And if that happens, then we'll just go bullish on Microsoft with a little bit of a pop out of there. Okay, next on the list is TWLO, which I think has earnings here pretty soon. It's up pre-market. Okay, congrats for anyone buying into some longer term down here with some protective puts. I mentioned that was the only way to play this one is with protective puts, because you're going to get whipsawed down at the support. Anytime a stock accumulates, if it's at a very good support, right, it's obvious to see buy low, sell high. You're going to want to use protective puts rather than stops if you want to be in longer term to prevent whipsaws. So we're gapping up today pretty nicely, the 28.20. 28.20. So my thought on TWLO is we gap up, we trade down, we bounce. Post-earnings pre-analysis on TWLO. Alex, it was not, but I will put it on the list for tomorrow. Earnings were today, yep, so post-earnings, earnings are over. Gapping up due to earnings, nice bullish retest gap. I still think stock / company was in a bullish buy low, sell high accumulation area. And we talked about that one not too long ago. Okay, trend analysis, chart patterns. Perfect. TWLO. Corey, are you in on this one? Corey says yes. All right, sweet. Boss. Love it. How's life, by the way, man? I hope you're doing phenomenal. Yeah, so that's pretty much my thoughts on TWLO. Just in an accumulation phase, chopping around down here. It looks like it's going to gap up and kind of rotate down. Next on the list, we got 4 more. Baidu, so we probably should end just on time today. Baidu, one of my nemesis stocks, gapping up on earnings to 237. A little bit of a weaker gap, but did not gap down. Okay, so Baidu gapping up on earnings. Is it above the high of this weekly candle? It is. That's a big deal. Okay. So if Baidu opens tomorrow AM above last week's high should be a pretty solid bullish retest gap. Buy the dip or look into bull put spreads. Still looks more bullish to neutral to me. This is one, Baidu has been my nemesis stock for a while because I just can't trade it to save my life. I want to get into a leap trade down here and missed it by, I think, 48 cents. So a little brutal. Baidu post-earnings pre-market analysis. Looking for a gap up tomorrow morning if it holds. Hashtag buy the salsa. And again, still more bullish to neutral overall on Baidu. BIDU. So we'll look at Baidu again more later. Okay. Baidu, put that on the list for Thursday. And category, trend analysis, chart patterns. James says, thanks. Sure, man. Anything for you, brother. Easy day. Okay. So there's Baidu. Next on the list, we have Goldman Sachs, ticker symbol GS. And this was a very popular one today. And a few people request Goldman Sachs. I must say I love it. Old time high, retest, retest, retest. 3 retests of the previous all-time high on Goldman Sachs. Daily chart looks good. You had a nice bullish gap and go yesterday, a little bit of a high wave candle, almost an inside A candle today, but not really. And here's the hourly. So my buddy Tad Biglands got in on the lower side of it today. So Tad, I like that trade. And kind of similar to the market, this is a nice stair-step pattern. So if we hold through here and then break higher, I think that's an easy trade on Goldman Sachs up to 261. I'm not going to take that trade personally just because it can't be in everything, but I like the gap. I like the high wave candle. I like it because it's not the exact same as the SPY, right? This is a retest of the previous all-time highs. And it'll be just a quick little poppage up into that area. And of course, if you get a chance to buy it as low as possible, just like the market, I think that's smart. Alibaba hanging out. The 100 simple is what's causing this one to act weird. I think Brian Weber has a put sale at 155. It's still trading sideways. I still think we're going to get to 272.15. Just going to take a little bit of time. And right now, all I can say on this one is wait on BABA. It's bullish to neutral. Bull put spreads, put sales somewhere down here. We have a little bit more distribution to go on Alibaba. A little bit more of a sideways movement before I think this channel breaks out. 50 EMA, we probably eventually end up hitting that. So if you're doing any bull put spreads or put sales, just do it below there on BABA. And then Amazon, here's Amazon, AMZN. And Amazon, still one that I'm going to kick myself for a little bit. This is one of the strongest stocks out there in the market, technically. Not even fundamentally, but this thing only pulled down to the 50. Beautiful trend. Here is another high wave candle, Marios, right there, if you want to take a picture of it. Very indecisive candle. So right now, this was a good pop on Amazon. If you go back to my analysis from last week, I said buy it off of the 50. And the only reason I didn't get a chance to do that is because I was setting up the trade as it was happening, and it just was a little bit too long. There it says a spinning top. Spinning top is the actual body of the candle. A high wave means it has giant upper and lower shadows. It means it's very indecisive. And if it closes above or below, which Amazon has not done yet, but a close above or below, and you got yourself a good setup. So Amazon, I would say on the hourly chart, look at this hourly pattern, my friends. Similar to the market, kind of a little bit of a move right here. So if Amazon breaks higher, I would say continue to go in at bullish. It makes sense to me, kind of like Apple, to pull back a tad more before it bounces on Amazon. I think that would be, if you're looking at the daily chart, would probably be the best setup, would be a pullback to the high of yesterday, so about 13.95. Pull back to there and a buy would be great, but I just missed it off to 50, and I'm real upset about that one. That's our analysis for Tech Giant Tuesday, my friends. Tomorrow is Energy Wednesday. Remember to make sure you exit your Watt swing trade. Let's go ahead and write down some of the trades that we're going to look at tomorrow. VLO, Parsley Energy, Schlumberger, LNG, Watt, EXLS, Shopify, ETP, First Solar, Soda, KMI, Blue Apron, Microsoft, Disney, USO, EOG, NVIDIA, NEE, British Petroleum, CY. All right. Sounds good. You guys rock. If you need anything else, let me know. You are stupendous people. Thanks for being awesome. And until next time, love life, live life, and trade it. See you later. Bye.